at 4.
The troops on the front lines of the war against opioid trafficking are in Washington, D.C. this week. Good afternoon. I'm Mallory Brooks. Thanks for joining us at 4 p.m. Narcotics officers from across the country are meeting with members of Congress and lobbying for continued support and federal funding. KRK4's Washington correspondent Drew Petromo joins us live from D.C. And Drew, the gathering comes just a few weeks after bipartisan criminal justice reform law that eases federal penalties for some drug offenders.
Yeah, that's right, Mallory. There are a growing number of lawmakers here in Washington interested in finding new ways to combat the drug abuse problem. They focus on drug treatment and ending the harsh penalties associated with the war on drugs. But narcotics officers say drugs remain a serious threat to public safety, and they warn against giving up the fight. On city streets and in rural communities across the country, narcotics officers continue to wage war on the ever-changing problem of illegal drugs. In Arkansas, gone are the days of rampant small-scale meth labs. Now officers say large shipments of the drug come in from Mexico.
Now we're dealing in pounds, ounces, pounds, and even several hundred pounds at a time.
Opioid pills continue to take a deadly toll. The natural state claims the second highest per capita prescription rate in the country. And in central Arkansas, narcotics officers say they're seeing an alarming spike in heroin and the synthetic opioid fentanyl.
The heroin and fentanyl is out of control down there.
The officers are in Washington this week to teach lawmakers about the latest in their fight. Their visit comes on the heels of a new law that eases federal penalties for some drug offenders. The change was championed by a bipartisan group of lawmakers and President Trump, but the National Narcotics Officers Association opposed it.
Let's way too many serious and repeat felons out on the streets.
So did Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, who the association gave an award for his work fighting the criminal justice reforms. During a speech to the officers, Cotton railed against the changes and called for continuing an aggressive fight in the war on drugs. Now, one of the requests narcotics officers say they'll make of lawmakers while they're here in Washington is that the lawmakers continue providing federal grant money to fund their departments. They say that money is crucial to continuing their work. Reporting from Washington, I'm Drew Petromo, KRK4 News.
And Drew, what did the narcotics officers say about focusing on treatment to combat that drug abuse?
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I asked him about that because that was a large part of this criminal justice reform package that was actually passed. And they say they're not opposed to using treatment to help the people that actually need it. But they also say that enforcement is a key part of the drug problem. And they say that the drugs lead to so many different issues, and sometimes those issues being violent, that it's key to having a large law enforcement presence in this issue in addition to the treatment.
Live in D.C., Drew, thank you so much. Back here in Arkansas, it is